In this video, we will talk about what will happen to your body if you do push-ups on your fists every day, so watch to the end. Push-ups on your fists are often used for staging blows in martial arts. This exercise perfectly strengthens the hands, hardens the impact surface of the fists, and develops overall muscular strength and endurance. Even if you are not engaged in martial arts, this type of push-up will allow you to diversify your workouts and get a greater range of motion than the usual emphasis on the palm of your hand. The main differences between classical push-ups and push-ups on fists are that when performing physical exercises, the supports are not the palms but the hands clenched into fists. From the side, it may seem that such a small change in the position of the hands does not affect the effectiveness of the physical exercise in any way. However, this is not the case. When an athlete performs exercises on the palms of their hands, the tension is distributed more evenly along the axis of the torso. This position makes it easier for the athlete to maintain balance due to a more stable position. When the area of contact with the floor decreases, it becomes harder to perform physical exertion because of the body's balloon and the correct transfer of tension to the muscles. Due to the technique of performing, all these nuances increase the intensity and benefit of push-ups on the fists, but at the same time, increase their complexity. The advantages of push-ups on the fists include strengthening the articular ligamentous apparatus of the hands, fixing the impact surface of the fist, stabilization of its position during blows, and reduction of pain sensitivity of the knuckles. Push-ups on the fists give a good load on the large pectoral muscles and triceps. The increased amplitude of movement allows you to train the muscles more effectively than with simple push-ups from the floor. The emphasis of the load can be shifted depending on the position of the hands, increasing the explosive strength of the muscles and their endurance. Training balance and coordination of muscle work since the exercise has a significant load on the tendons of the hands and finger joints. Its performance without appropriate preparation will be very traumatic, and the benefit is doubtful. Which muscles work in push-ups on fists? In this exercise, work the pectoral muscles, triceps, and the anterior part of the deltoid muscles. Also, participate in the work of the anterior serrated muscles as stabilizers. Static tension is received by the abdominal muscles and gluteal muscles, depending on how the hands are placed. Vertically or horizontally, the emphasis will be distributed differently. If you put your hands horizontally as a bench press, the emphasis will be directed to the large pectoral muscles. And if you put your hands vertically, then the load will go to the triceps in priority. For the strength training with push-ups on the fists to be successful and safe, observe the technique of performing the exercise, which includes several important rules. In the emphasis, the fists should be located from each other at a short distance. A narrow setting will help to work out the subclavian muscles, as well as the biceps anterior and posterior bundles of deltoid muscles. The tension during the lowering of the body should be transferred to the muscles of the upper shoulder girdle and arms. They are on the joints. To avoid injuries and sprains, so that physical exertion brings more benefit, it is necessary to lower the trunk to the limit. Only in this way, it is possible to use all-purpose zones for muscle building. You should descend slowly and rise quickly for the development of strength and endurance. The thumbs should be turned inward and in the direction of each other. This position will allow you to use your strength to the maximum and at the same time, not damage the hands during the exercises. The spine should be kept straight, the shoulders straightened, and the buttocks and chest muscles tense. In this case, the load is evenly distributed along the axis of the trunk, excluding overstrain and rupture of muscle fibers. At the initial stages of fitness training, 2 or 3 sets of 6 to 8 repetitions are enough. Gradually, as the technique of strengthening the hands is mastered, the load should be increased by the pre-programmed several visits and repetitions. The benefits of the exercises will be maximized. If you periodically alternate the position hands, if the purpose of your workout is to develop exactly the pectoral muscles, you can try push-ups on special stops. They also increase the amplitude of movement, but the brushes are less loaded. At the same time, push-ups on the fists from the floor can vary in intensity, with 1 repetition per breathing cycle. Lifting from the floor, exhaling, lowering, inhaling. At a fast pace, a maximum number of repetitions per cycle with static pauses. Pause for several breathing cycles at the moment of the greatest muscle tension. Recommendations for the implementation of this exercise are relevant to include in a complex with other power exercises. Without waiting, it can also be performed solo in several approaches with a gradual decrease in the number of repetitions. Push-ups on the fists are also relevant as a warm-up exercise at the beginning of training the pectoral muscles. And push-ups on the fists are also relevant after strength exercises to train the pectoral muscles with weights as a tiring exercise. Push-ups on the fists are an excellent exercise for those who is engaged at home. Almost everyone can do this exercise, except for injuries and joint diseases. After all, it is useful not only for muscles but also for general health. Push-ups have a positive effect on bones and joints, heart, and blood vessels. If it was interesting, like and subscribe to the channel.